Each quarter for the past 4 years, HRO Today and Yoh have been tracking worker confidence. It's a leading indicator of consumer confidence. We reveal the latest estimate for consumer confidence and data around job security, the likelihood of a promotion, a raise, and trust in leadership. Please join me in welcoming Kim Davis, Vice President, Yoh.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's been a long day, I'm sure, for most of us. Hopefully you have found the sessions to be extremely fruitful. I know I have. In a prior session, Peter and Alina talked about the importance of segmenting data. I think you'll see that when we go through the Worker Confidence Index report. Also, I'm living proof it doesn't pay to miss a session. I understand I volunteered to be on a steering committee to look at certification for the provider organization. As Larry indicated, Worker Confidence Index is a leading indicator of economic health. During today's session, we'll demonstrate why it's a leading indicator, as well as share some of the data. To start, HRO Today magazine and Yoh have jointly conducted this study since 2014. The research measures U.S. employment security from an employee perspective, and I emphasize from an employee perspective, which is uniquely different than other major indices in the marketplace. Now to explain some of the mechanics behind the research. We engage ORC International to reach out to roughly 1,000 respondents on a monthly basis who are 18 or older via an online interview. This is a very diverse population group. The respondents, as Larry indicated, are asked a series of 4 questions and then asked to rate them on a scale of 1 to 5 basis. 1 meaning it's very poor, and 5 being very favorable. As Larry indicated, those 4 series of questions are the possibility of an involuntary layoff, the likelihood of a promotion, the anticipation of a raise of 3% or greater, and their trust in company leadership. From that research, a U.S. quarterly report is generated. Again, this we believe to be a very important indicator at the end of the day. There's a strong connection, a very strong connection between job security and consumer spending. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, 71% of U.S. goods produced are for personal consumption. Again, I conclude it's a better indicator. The other note, you as HR leaders or leaders in general know that there's these perceptions have a tremendous impact on your workplace. Alina mentioned perceptions possibly being reality. I believe they are reality, and something that each of you will have to deal with. So now let's look at some of the data. The first data point that we want to look at is the anticipation of a 3% raise or greater. You can clearly see from the table that males and females alike are confident that they are going to get a raise at this level. Matter of fact, roughly 30% of the survey indicated that. This is a significant number. You can also see females continue to be less confident than their male counterparts. Other findings as it relates to this question: as employees get older, they become less confident about receiving a raise. Another interesting data point as it relates to this category, minorities, blacks and Hispanics, were the most optimistic group surveyed in 2018. The next area is the likelihood or the possibility of a job loss, an involuntary job loss. You can see from the data, women continue to be less concerned about being laid off. And what I find ironic in comparison to males, what I find ironic about that data is, if you recall from the prior slide, women are less confident about receiving a raise of 3% or greater. Other interesting findings as it relates to this topic that I found surprising to myself was millennials, ages 25 to 34, were the most concerned about a potential voluntary or involuntary layoff. One thing I want to mention about the prior slide before going into this slide, if you noticed on the prior slide, there was a dip or a decline in the fourth period. And we believe that decline was caused by a volatile stock market. We all know 2018 was a bad stock year. Matter of fact, stock was down 8.7%. The down was 8.7% in December. December represented the worst month since 1931. Now, we believe that decline will be erased this year until I saw the stock market today. And the stock market is down over 500 points today. So this slide looks at the likelihood of a promotion. And you can see from the data point that males are more confident about receiving a promotion than females. Over 1/4 of the males surveyed indicated that they would receive a promotion in the near term. Also, individuals making between $75,000 to $100,000 in annual compensation were the most optimistic group. And another interesting point, over 1/3 of the millennials surveyed indicated a promotion was imminent. Now we talk about perceptions, and perceptions being reality. Think about the last 3 slides. Anticipation of a raise of greater than 3%. The likelihood of an involuntary layoff. And now the likelihood of a promotion. This is the world that you all live in. The last slide, the last area that we'll address is trust and leadership. And males obviously trust leadership more than their female counterparts. You can also note that this too had a dip in the fourth period. I think that also is related to a volatile stock market. Also, as workers get older, they become less trusting of their leadership. Now, if you remember back as it related to the perception around anticipation of receiving a raise, that same population felt not confident about receiving one. So when you look at those 2 data points, we believe them to be correlated. This concludes the 2018 Worker Confidence Index study. Again, we're proud to partner with HRO Today magazine in creating and doing the research and presenting the data. Thank you.